Good morning and welcome to Monday morning's maths lesson. Today we are looking at the area of a shape. So last week we looked all at perimeter, and a perimeter, just to recap, is the measurement around the outside edge of a shape. So we find it by adding the lengths of the edges up, or if we're doing complex questions we have to find out the missing edges before we add them up. But a perimeter, we talked about ways of remembering it. Perimeter fence around our lion here, or so it's the how long is the fence, or how far is it to walk around the lion's enclosure. So perimeter is a measure on the outside. Area is the measure on the inside. So on this map, let's just take him out for a second. Everything green is the area of this shape. So bring my lion back. The lion's living in the area of his enclosure. That's how much area, how much space he has. So it's a measure of the space inside. It's a little bit trickier to get your head around at first because it's not a measure in a straight line. It sort of goes in both directions at the same time. It goes up, down, across. So it's how much it covers. A really good way to remember it is how much grass there is or how much carpet you need in a room. That kind of thing is the usual way of remembering area. So it's the area that the shape covers. Now, it's got its own special name. We call it centimetres squared, or whatever unit it is. So say we had a shape which is 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre. So it's got edges 1 centimetre long. The area that square would cover is 1 centimetre squared. So the red area, the red patch, is 1 centimetre squared. So these are all 1 centimetre squared, or they're 1 by 1. So if I put one like that, that shape there has an area of 1 centimetre squared. If I had two of them, it's not 11. I've got two 1 centimetre squared shapes. So the area they cover is 2 centimetres squared. I could put another one on top there. That's now made a shape that is 3 centimetres squared. Nice and simple. Now 3 centimetres squared, a shape covering 3 centimetres squared, could be almost any shape, but it's going to be the same area every time. So those are 3 centimetre squared shapes. I could make it into, when it's got 4, just counting the squares, it's got a 4 centimetre squared shape. Now making shapes of an area is really easy. What we're going to look at today is identifying and finding out the area of shapes. All you have to do is count how many squares it's got. So, having a quick look at these, let's just assume for today that each square is 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre. So each square here is worth 1 centimetre squared. So all we would have to do is count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the area there is 12. Now, when we're doing this properly in books, we'll be writing cm squared, excuse the horrible handwriting, because we're putting it in on a computer and putting that symbol in, the squared symbol is tricky. We could just record it as 12 today. Don't worry, we're just going to deal with it all as being centimetres squared. So similarly for this one, I'll let you do this one yourself. All you have to do is just count the number of squares. And our final one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It'd be really interesting if any of you just spotted straight away that that's 9, sort of seeing the noughts and crosses grid or something like that, recognising it. So quite easy to count shapes, count the squares, work out the area that the shape covers. Right, so let's make it a bit trickier then, because the first question is going to be like that. We might have some more irregular shapes that look like this, so you have to count again. Now, just do the same thing we did with perimeter. When we're counting, maybe just tick off the one that you're starting with. So starting there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that one's got an area of 7, covering 7 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's covering 6. Mark again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11. And then finally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's interesting because at first glance, which would you say of those is the biggest? That kind of question might come up later as well. What is the biggest of 2 shapes or 3 shapes or 4 shapes? Okay, so there are going to be some trick questions in here with a bit more challenge. This shape is really easy. There's 17 whole squares, but we've got these 2 half squares. So what you have to do with this kind of question is you have to imagine, could that one, if that went up like that, would that make a full square? So these 2 between them, they're half square each, so together they're worth a whole, which means if those 2 together are worth 1, then the area of that shape is 18. So easy kind of stuff. Your task today, you've got lots of shapes to count. Just put the answer in. How many? No units, just the number. How many squares? What's the area of that shape? You've got some unusual and irregular shapes, and then towards the bottom, you're going to start getting some real challenge shapes. You've got a bit of comparison first, and then there's going to be some right down at the bottom. There's going to be some real mystery ones, which are called unusual shapes, which you're going to have to think about. Have fun, enjoy it, put your scores in, and then hit submit. Good luck.